Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are setting the stage for an absolute masterclass on how to survive, adapt, and really thrive against this rising tide of automation. I mean, it's no secret the technological landscape is completely shifting beneath our feet, right? We're hearing about it constantly: algorithms, AI, automated workflows. But when you actually look at the data, a super fascinating truth emerges. Jobs don't necessarily just disappear. They just get too cheap to live on. The bottleneck of the modern economy is officially moving away from pure execution and shifting toward curation, strategy, and real human connection. So we've synthesized some incredibly powerful insights today to explore exactly how to future-proof your career. We're going to walk through the definitive skills that won't just keep you relevant, but literally have the potential to double your income by the year 2030. Let's get into it. All right, I want you to consider this frankly alarming statistic: 40%. According to McKinsey, 40% of the skills you currently rely on and the ones you actually get paid for right now will be completely obsolete by 2030. Just think about that for a second. Nearly half of the everyday tasks that make up modern jobs can be automated with the tech we already have sitting in our hands today. So if half your toolkit is about to expire, you absolutely have to replace it with high-leverage skills. You just can't compete with machines on volume or speed anymore. We have to compete on strategy. Okay, let's dive right into this. We've organized these skills into 4 really clean strategic pillars for you. First, the AI and data edge. Second, ownership and physical logistics. Third, human experience and judgment. And finally, trust, reputation, and negotiation. Let's kick things off with pillar 1, the AI and data edge. This is your new baseline. We are looking at a sheer, massive contrast between the old world of discovery and the new one. Basically, traditional search is dying, and AI search optimization is exploding. Look at this. By 2026, traditional search engine volume is projected to drop by a staggering 38%. Meanwhile, AI systems like ChatGPT are already processing something like 1.6 billion search queries every single day. People just aren't scrolling through 10 blue links on Google anymore. They're asking an AI, and that AI is picking one single winner for them. Getting the AI to recommend your business, that is the actual new edge. If you can optimize your presence so these chatbots suggest you, you're quietly building the modern equivalent of an early 2000s SEO empire. It's absolutely huge. And it goes so much further than just search. Take a look at this multi-step workflow. This brilliantly illustrates what we call AI orchestration. We aren't just using AI to answer basic questions anymore. We're using autonomous agents that literally talk to each other. Step 1, an agent scrapes the internet to find your leads. Step 2, it hands that data to a second agent that drafts highly personalized outreach. And then step 3, a third agent qualifies the replies and actually drafts the proposals. This whole team runs in code 24/7 for just a few $100 a month. The incredibly crucial point here is that you do not need to know how to program to do this. It's a thinking skill. If you can logically design the workflow and describe what needs to happen, the tools do the rest. The gap between a $60,000 employee and a $300,000 employee is literally just the willingness to orchestrate these tools. But here's the catch. To feed those AI systems, you need fuel. And that fuel is proprietary data. The real edge comes from data your competitors can't just Google. We're talking about your 10 years of receipts, real customer conversations, the exact objections that kill a sales call, information that is completely hidden from the open internet. If you collect and organize this, you have a massive asset. Now, combine that with the speed of replication. This is the discipline of looking at what works in a totally unrelated industry, like say taking a software subscription model and applying it to a local car wash, and then rapidly importing that mechanism to your business before anyone else catches on. That is a wildly lucrative skill. Okay, let's move to and see how this builds with Pillar 2, ownership and physical logistics, taking it to the physical world. Have you ever heard the term micro-private equity? By 2035, there is this unbelievable $5 trillion wealth transfer happening, and it's often called the silver tsunami. Millions of small and mid-sized businesses, we're talking profitable, cash-flowing, really unsexy businesses like plumbing companies, vet practices, car washes, they're owned by retiring baby boomers who have zero succession plan. Many of them would rather just shut the doors than work another year if they can't find a buyer. The massive opportunity here is stepping in, maybe pooling some funds with friends, buying these businesses with seller financing, and just optimizing them. But it completely dispels the biggest myth out there of wealth without work. You actually have to roll up your sleeves and do the unsexy, gritty work to print this kind of money. And speaking of owning assets, let this brutal reality sink in for a minute. We hear so much hype about the glamorous creator economy, right? But look at the actual data. 75% make absolutely $0. Only 4% make over $100 grand. Why? Because they're renting an audience from an algorithm. One tiny tweak to a platform's code, and your entire business can be wiped out overnight. Gone. The smart play is owning your distribution channel, whether that's an email list, SMS numbers, a private community, or a physical supply chain. The best product loses to the best distribution every single time, no question. This extends perfectly to physical goods. Did you know a $40 luxury candle often costs about $1.80 to manufacture overseas? The margin is entirely in the movement. Physical logistics and sourcing absolutely drive the modern economy. I mean, your phone probably traveled through 43 different countries before it hit your hand. Today, anybody can sit on their couch, open a platform like Alibaba, and source products globally. The people who understand this relay race, how to move atoms from point A to point B, they quietly own everything. Which brings us to Pillar 3, human experience and judgment. These are your ultimate human differentiators. This next part brilliantly illustrates exactly why taste matters. A Harvard study tracked design-driven companies, think brands like Apple, Nike, Starbucks, against the standard S&P 500 baseline over a 10-year period. The result? A 228% outperformance. That is no joke. Aesthetics and taste aren't just decoration, folks. Beauty actually compresses trust and drastically reduces decision time for the consumer. When AI can produce infinite average content, the real bottleneck becomes selection and curation. Having elite taste is what allows you to charge those massive premiums. Because ultimately, humans don't just remember features, we remember moments. Look at the stark difference between a commodity and an experience. Hermes sells leather bags, and so does TJ Maxx. But buying a Birkin bag, that involves a wait list, a salesperson who actually remembers your name, a carefully crafted relationship. The bag is honestly just the souvenir. The experience is the actual product. Same with Airbnb. They didn't beat traditional hotels just because the rooms were nicer. They won because they made you feel like a local instead of a tourist. Focusing on the sequence of how a customer feels, making them feel truly seen and valued, that is where the real money is made. Now, to create those kinds of experiences, you need two deeply human skills. First up, data-backed storytelling. Look, we have way too much information and way too many dashboards today. The person who can look at a messy pile of numbers, isolate the actual truth, and say, hey, here is exactly what we need to change to double our revenue, that person is an absolute unicorn. Second is good judgment. Judgment isn't just some gut feeling. It's the highly lucrative skill of spotting underpriced risks and opportunities way before the crowd catches up. It's about separating the signal from the noise and having the guts to take action when everyone else is just hesitating. Finally, we arrive at Pillar 4, trust, reputation, and negotiation. This is the absolute ultimate leverage. The crucial point here is this: 82% of people trust a company more when the leader is visible and posts in public. 82%. Having a branded reputation is basically like playing life on easy mode. It dramatically reduces the cost of trust. People just choose faster when they already know what you stand for. In an era where AI can fake almost anything, your authenticity, your unique life experiences, and your visible reputation are your absolute ultimate competitive advantages. You literally cannot afford to hide in the shadows anymore. And once they know who you are, you have to maintain trust at scale. This means combining real personal intimacy with massive reach. It's remembering those tiny little details, like a client's kid's name, and showing up when it actually costs you something. Over time, this leads to compounding relationships. Honestly, the most wealth you will ever generate comes from relationships that grow through 10 to 20 years of accumulated proof. Proof that you're useful, proof that you deliver, and proof that you give way more than you receive, without always expecting some immediate transactional return. And that accumulated trust beautifully sets the stage for the undisputed #1 skill of all, high-stakes negotiation. As the quote goes, most people live on default terms. The people who win learn to negotiate the terms of their own life. You could spend a full decade building up a stellar reputation, but if you mishandle the conversation where the actual deal is struck, you give up half your upside. In a world full of automated robotic pitches, humans still desperately want to look another human in the eye when the stakes are high. Controlling the deal structure, asking way better questions, and handling the sheer discomfort of negotiation, that wins every single time, no matter how good the AI gets. Before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a little bonus insight. The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. Immense fortunes are going to be made in the coming years by people who simply take frontier technology out of these elite, isolated tech bubbles and translate it for the everyday masses. You don't actually need to invent the future. You just need to be the bridge that packages it up for normal people in your specific industry. It's a real game changer. We've definitely covered a lot of ground today. Everything from AI orchestration and unsexy micro-private equity, all the way to human taste and high-stakes negotiation. Think of this as your roadmap to escape the default terms of life. So I'm going to leave you with this final, vital question to think about. Which of these skills will you use to negotiate the terms of your future? Take these structured insights, pick your leverage point, and just start building. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.